Hey everyone, so hopefully by now you've decided what car to buy, exactly down to the trim level, options, and even color. Hopefully you checked your credit score and either got pre-approved for a loan or at least researched the rates that are available for your credit score. If you've done all of those things, then you're ready for the next step in the car buying process, and that is negotiating with the dealer. If you want to find out how to do it easily and effectively, then keep on watching. So guys, negotiating with the dealer can seem intimidating, can even be overwhelming for some people, and a lot of people are very uncomfortable doing that. Some to the point that they would rather go to the one price store, spend more money just to avoid that whole experience altogether. But it does not have to be this way. Once equipped with the right information, the correct strategy, you can make it painless, sometimes even fun, and you can save yourself a whole bunch of money. All right, so I will go over two ways of negotiating with dealerships. First is online, and the second one is in person. I personally much rather do it online, but there's some people that still enjoy the thrill, still enjoy playing the game with the dealerships in person. Now, in order to play the game, you need to know the rules of the game, and you need to know the strategy and have enough information on how dealers play it, so then you can win it. The rules of the game are pretty simple. The objective for you is to negotiate the best terms of the finance as well as the best price of the car on the vehicle of your choice. The rules for the game for the objective for the dealer opponent is exactly the same. They have to negotiate the best price and the finance terms, but to them, meaning that they have to keep as much profit as possible in their pockets. Hey, that's why they're in business. Okay? So the advantage that a lot of dealers have is that they play this game every day, several times a day. So you really need to be equipped with the right strategy and information in order to win it. The strategy of the dealership is simple as well. First of all, it is to distract you and confuse you. So they will try to do their best to get your focus of what's important to you, and that means that they try to get the focus away from the price. So there's some things of never to do with the dealership when start negotiating. First of all, do not negotiate on Foursquare. I'm going to tell you in just a second of what Foursquare is. Second of all, do not negotiate finance terms before agreeing on the price of the car. Third, do not throw in the trade-in if you have one too early in the game. Wait till you have the price of the vehicle established and then go for the trade-in. General, do not negotiate anything other than the price of the vehicle. Negotiating on Foursquare. You might think to yourself, what the hell is Foursquare? Well, if you haven't seen one, it looks something like this. I'll put that on the screen right now. So as you can see, it's got four squares. That's why it's called a Foursquare. One of them is the MSRP, or the price of the car. The second one is the trade-in. Third one is the down payment. And the fourth one is the payments. Right? That's why I said, in order for you to win the game, you know how to play it. So in order to eliminate that Foursquare, if the dealer is trying to push that on you, you tell them, hey, I'm paying cash. I don't have a trade-in. That will eliminate 3 out of the 4 squares from that worksheet, and they will be forced to work on the price with you. Simple as that. But if you really want to work on the Foursquare, take a look at this. So when you're looking at the first screen that you have, following the example that we had from the last video, let's say your target price on the car is $30,000, right? The dealer will start the price negotiating with the total MSRP, which in this case is 30,900, which will bring your total out the door price. And I broke that down in the Foursquare. A lot of times they don't do it, but it's 30,900 plus 300 doc fee. 25.78 is taxes. That's based on where you live. $15 county tax in my case, that would be correct. 326 registration for a grand total of 34,115. The down payment, they will tell you, hey, it's 30%. That's about an average what people say pay down as a down payment. So they're gonna, probably round it up to about $10,000. Let's just take the trade-in out. We'll cover it in another video. And payments, you will usually have 2 to 3 options depending on the dealerships that you go to. But trust me, they're going to be calculated at a really high rate or padded with enough money for finance and insurance to sell their product. And it's usually $2,000 to $3,000 higher. So simple calculations. When we take that down, that 34,115, which we came up as an MSRP plus taxes minus $10,000 down payment, adding another $3,000 to it, that would be 27,115. They're usually going to give you a rate that's about 2, maybe 3% higher than the regular rate, just to start you off at the payments, just to get you, scraped down from the floor, basically, as they say, which means to raise yourself up. So 27,115 at 5.9% financing. Here's your payment: 36,824, 48,636, and 65,23. Okay, so now in reality, let's see how this should really play out, because you've already done your research. You know what you can buy this car for, and this how the worksheet should look like with your numbers. So 30,000 out the door target price, right? $5,000 down payment. Let's say that's what you decided. That's about 15%. Give or take, it's a good number. Now you get pre-qualified at the bank at 3.5%, and you know that your payments should be 36 at 733, 48 at 559, or 60 at 453. And let's make this your target price. So that's your preferred payment, right? Okay. So keep that in mind, because you should already have this information while walking into the dealership. Now, if you want to continue to negotiate on the Foursquare, which I really don't recommend, I simply don't recommend it because there's so many factors in it that can get you confused when you're doing it all at once. My suggestion is concentrate on the price, then get to the financing, then get to the trade-in, and then get to the financing if you have a trade. So I would cross off the down payment and make it 4,000 instead of their required 4,000, 10,000 that they say. Eliminate completely 36 and 48. Let's get those out of the way. And payments specify 60 at 400, which is really $50 cheaper than you initially wanted to be at. And offer 29,000 out the door for the car. Right? If they really want to play this game, let's get them confused a little bit. Start off there, and you know where you need to end up to. But still, my suggestion is get off that Foursquare. Tell them there's no trade-in, there's no financing that will force them to continue to negotiate on the price on it. Instead, when you're working on the price, so keep your cards closed at all time, and only reveal them as the situation progresses. So either demand politely to negotiate on the price of the vehicle, or use the trick that I just showed you, saying that there is no trade-in, there is no financing, so that's going to force them to concentrate on the price of the car. So keep your eyes on the target at all time. So your target is $30,000 out the door. So keep and stick to it, okay, until you either get it or you get close enough where you feel comfortable moving to the next stage of the negotiation. Once this is established, so once the price is established and you agreed upon that, make sure that they print out a purchase order which would list out the selling price of the vehicle, all the fees. Make sure that the total number, that 30,000, is correct, and make sure it is signed by the manager in order to go to the next stage, and that is your paperwork stage or your finance and insurance stage, or maybe you have a trade-in. Now it would be the time to say, hey, I do have a trade-in. I'll cover that in another video of how to get the best buck for your trade-in. But in this case, no trade. So the dealers can offer you a very competitive rate. They can probably offer you either the same of what you get approved at the bank, or they can offer you maybe a little bit better bank. Simply because they deal with so many different finance institutions and banks, and what happens is the banks approve you at the wholesale rate. The wholesale rate is the banks, then in turn then the dealerships can mark it up a little bit to make some commission. Depending on the banks, when you go to your own bank, they will give you a customer rate or a retail rate, which in generally should be a little bit higher unless you have a special deal with the bank. So the dealers have the opportunity to beat that rate or match that rate. And if they can at least match it, my suggestion is go with the dealer financing, simply because you're already there, you have the paperwork, you have the documents that are needed to be submitted for the loan approval, so might as well have them do all the work if that doesn't cost you any more money. So to sum it all up, don't get distracted, don't get sidetracked, concentrate on the price of the vehicle before moving to the next stage. So remember, again, if you're ready to play this game, remember that your opponent, your dealership, is playing this game, several times a day. And the good ones will really play it to the point where you really won't know when you get switched up to something different other than price. So what I really prefer is the online negotiating. The online negotiating, well, first of all, why is it easier? Well, A, it takes the emotions completely out of buying a car. Second, instead of you going to the dealerships and you're revealing your cards and you're making the offer to the dealerships, you simply let dealers compete for your business. And you don't offer them anything in your initial email. Simply put an inquiry in and wait for the offers. And there's a couple ways to do it. The one way to do it is you compose an email to the dealerships or several dealerships in your area, basically stating, again, very exactly to the point of what kind of car you're looking for. So that's make, model, trim level, equipment, packages, color if you are stuck on a certain color. And, after that, you wait. You submit those emails and you wait for the dealer's offers. Once you get the offers from the dealerships, you pick the one that you like the best and contact that dealership and ask them to provide you with the out-the-door price of the car. That means the price that they send you, plus all of the applicable fees and taxes that you need to pay on purchase of that particular vehicle. So that's if you want to do the work and actually sign emails. But there's even an easier way of negotiating with dealers if you don't want to do the work. So there's also an even easier way of negotiating with the car dealer without negotiating at all. You simply sign up for service that does all the work for you. TrueCar is the one that I've used before to help some friends when we got sidetracked or when we got to the point where there was no point spending enough time negotiating with the dealerships and we knew we were going nowhere. I suggested it to my friends and they've had some success with it. Basically what TrueCar does, and the website is, by the way, truecar.com. When you go to it, you can see, just like on Kelley Blue Book, you can see about the market price of the vehicle. That's an average price paid for that car. But if you want to go in depth and if you want to submit the offers, you actually have to set up an account with TrueCar. It's free, it doesn't cost you any money, it just asks you some questions. Plus, so the way that the TrueCar works is dealers input their best offers for pretty much the whole inventory on their lot into the TrueCar system. So if the system matches a vehicle that's on the dealer's lot, it will automatically send you an email with the best price for this vehicle and will send you a certificate that will have this particular car, the VIN number, and the whole 9 yards. Once you get that, I would definitely suggest calling the dealership if you like that price, and they'll probably follow up with you, but call them up and say, hey, you know what this price does not include. Um, Please send me the price that's out the door. That's really what your target price is. Let's say that 30,000 that we keep on talking, just for an example purposes. If the dealer sends you $27,000 on the vehicle, and you know how to calculate the out the door price, and then they send you the out the door price at 31,000, they're not including something. They might have some hidden fees, hidden options, or hidden accessories on this car that you might not have to pay, because it should be $1,000 less. So it's always important to double check. Once you double check with the dealerships and you're comfortable enough, then you can go to the dealerships and finalize the process. So now that you've negotiated the price of the car, and you somewhat know what your finance is, whether at your bank or at the dealerships, now you think you're done, right? You couldn't be further from the truth. Now you're only starting to negotiate. And most people already put their guard down. They take a deep breath and they go like, hey, I just bought a car. No, no, no. Now you're going into the F&I office. And that's a whole other story. And if you want to find out what really happens in F&I office and what are they going to offer you there, then watch my next video. Hit like, hit subscribe, so you don't miss it. It's going to be coming out very, very shortly. And that's going to be a video on what really happens in F&I office and what I think of which product I would recommend and which products are a complete BS. So see you in another video.